When running DataSpell for the first time, uh, we get the option to configure a default environment to be used when using DataSpell. So we can select using an existing one or create a new one or handle it later. Let's create a new one, and over here we have two options. We can either use Conda or virtual env, two different ways for handling additional packages, libraries we want to install. So currently I don't have Conda installed on my computer, so if I want to use Conda, I need to install it, download and install it. So I won't choose Conda, I will choose the other option, virtual env. So the location where the virtual environment will be created should be a folder that the operation system doesn't put restrictions on. For instance, if you are using Windows, make sure that you don't create the virtual environment in the C folder, I mean the root of C drive. Generally speaking, if you are using Windows, it would be best to have the C drive installed with all the programs you want to use, and the data itself install it on a different drive, D or E. This way we have a separation, and this way there will be less technical problems due to the fact that Windows restricts the access to C for writing data and creating new files by other programs. So um, I can remain with the selection we have over here and use the base interpreter in this path or select something else. The location for creating the virtual environment is fine with me, and I press launch DataSpell. Now over here, um, I got a message saying download pre-built shared indexes. Do I want to do it? Yes, because doing so will improve the use of the IDE. So approve it. And let's move forward. So we have virtual environment defined, and we can move forward. And the next step would be to attach a folder we have on my computer with this ID. So let's create a folder we want to attach. So I will create a folder in downloads. So new folder, and my folder will be DataSpell JumpStart. And now moving back to the DataSpell, I can select file and select attach directory folder, it is the same, and select the folder I've just created, DataSpell JumpStart. This would be the folder where all my files will be kept. The files with the py extension that includes code in Python, the Jupyter notebook files, additional files such as CSV files, XML files, files with the data I'm working on. All files will be stored in that folder. So I press open, and now that we have that folder attached, we can move forward. We can create a simple file with the py extension that includes code in Python. So just select new and Python file, and the name of the file will be hello. And over here, let's write some code in Python. So I want to define a function that, for instance, takes two numbers and calculate their sum. Oops, I have a typo. And I want to show off calling that function. So print total, and here it is. So in order to run this code, this file, I just right click the mouse and select run hello.py, and then the entire code in this file will be executed. So here's the output, and this is a simple demo for writing simple code in Python in a file and then executing that file. And now let's show how we can use a separated file as a module in our program. So for start, let's change the name of hello.py by using the refactor option. Refactor rename, let's call it program. And let's take the definition of total to another file, a separated file that will be used as a module. Every file in Python is a module. So I take this code and now I right click, select new Python file and create a new file. Its name is utils, and in utils I'm going to define the total function. Now if I want to use this function in program, I will need to import utils and then write utils.total. Let's right click, run program, and it works fine. We can also do the following: from utils import total, and then we just need to write total. The same, it is actually the same, and the code is executed fine, as you can see. Now if you want to create a Jupyter notebook, just select the folder and right click new and new Jupyter notebook. Let's create a new Jupyter notebook and let's name it my first NB notebook. Now the Jupyter notebook has cells. Each cell includes code. So over here, for instance, I can do import utils, and then I can write something like print the outcome when calling utils.total, passing over 100 and 200. Now in order to execute this specific cell, just right click and select run cell. Run cell means that the cell, the code in that specific cell will be executed. Now, because it is a Jupyter notebook, we also have a server up and running, HTTP server up and running on our computer, and we can open the web browser and call to, and send a request to that server in order to get the Jupyter notebook up and running in our web browser. If Jupyter Notebook is not installed on your computer, you will get the option to install it. There will be a small link you can click in order to install it. Now, you might have difficulties if you are not the admin of the computer you're using, so make sure the admin is nearby so you can ask for his help. So let's click this link and we shall have the web browser open for us, and here is the notebook we created, and here is the code, and we can execute this code over here as well, as you can see.